All right. And so with that, everyone, hello, everyone. I'm Kelsey Lim, and I'm a senior technical marketing manager at VMware. And joining me today, we have a veritable who's who of subject matter experts. And so I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to present themselves, starting with Sunny.
Hello all, this is Sunny Nguyen, Senior Technical Marketing Engineer. You know me as the API guy, all right?
Thanks, Sunny.
And my name is John Nicholson, staff technical architect, working on the storage and availability and data side with both vSAN and data services manager.
Didi?
Yeah, I'm Nitin. I'm a product manager for Skyline Health Diagnostics and vSphere Plus product line. I work closely with the Skyline teams and customers. Right. Thank you.
Awesome. And so with that, we want to welcome you all to our Skyline product family overview presentation. We actually built this presentation as a direct result of the feedback that we received in previous polling sessions, right? And so with that being said, as many of you know, Skyline Advisor is actually part of a family of Skyline products, including Skyline Health and Skyline Health Diagnostics. But there were questions about, when and how to use the products, right? Can I use just one? Should I use two? Should I use all three? And so what we're going to do today, we're going to actually answer all those questions. And with that being said, no webinar would be complete without our senior product marketing and manager, Michelle Clopton, and our marketing program manager, Danielle Quesada. And so, they're going to be all helping us with some Q&A. So make sure that you're using that Q&A option at the bottom of the screen there. And in the spirit of conversation, of course, you should definitely take advantage of this whole team being here. Like I said, this is a veritable who's who of subject matter experts. And so make sure that you're using that QA option. And if you want to share your Skyline success story, either in chat or if you want to come off mute and share your story today, Michelle and Daniela would love to hear from you. As a matter of fact, we've got some pretty cool swag, as you can see here, to give away. So keep that in mind as we go through today's presentation. And so with that, we've got an action-packed agenda. You're going to keep it really, really breezy because we got a lot of topics to cover. And so we're going to be talking about our three services, and then we're going to just double down on each, showing them all in action before opening up to some Q&A and ending with our call to action here. And so, like I said, right, our hero product, Skyline Advisor Pro, it's part of a larger product family that spans proactive issue avoidance all the way to the other end of that support spectrum, right? Our self-service troubleshooting. And so we're going to talk about how all three of our product solutions, sit within that support spectrum, right? Again, that spans all the way from one side of proactive support all the way to that opposite side of reactive support. And so with that being said, right, starting on the proactive side of things, right, you can use Skyline Advisor Pro and Skyline Health to avoid issues before they occur, across your supported products, right? Skyline findings are based on top KBs, VMSA, CVEs, and best design practices. And as you sort of cross over again to that reactive side of the support experience, right? You can use Skyline Health Diagnostics to self-service and troubleshoot, vSphere and vSAN logs when an issue occurs. And of course, we recommend leveraging all three Skyline services, that's available to you to basically just to ensure that your digital infrastructure is safe, right? You want to make sure that your environment is reliable and productive. And we're going to show you why here in a moment. So with that, right, let's just dive a little bit deeper into each. We're going to double down. We're going to start with Skyline Advisor Pro. And so earlier, you heard me talking about that support spectrum, right? Again, going from proactive to reactive, and I'm sure you're all very familiar with that that very reactive support side of things, right? You experience an issue in your environment, you open an SR with VMware, then our tech support team troubleshoots and they work with you to solve that issue, right? Well, with that being said, right, Skyline Advisor, it actually sits on that spectrum in the sense that it's actually a proactive support technology, meaning that it can actually help you avoid issues before they happen. So you don't even have the problem in the first place. But the best part about Skyline Advisor is that it's actually available at no additional cost with your active production Premier support contracts. And it's also included with Success 360 as well as area universal suite subscriptions. And Skyline, as you can see, supports a large variety of products, as you can see here. And one of the things about Skyline is that, it's automated detection and proactive, that remediation guidance. It actually helps you strengthen your environments. And so with the service, again, you can avoid that unplanned IT downtime, and you can reallocate a lot of your time, just to do more valuable, more meaningful work, right? And with that being said, right, Skyline actually helps you resolve existing issues faster. So say, for example, you didn't act on an issue, and then lo and behold, now you've got a problem. So if you've got a case open with us, our tech support engineers can actually use Skyline to view your environment specific configurations. And then at that point, they can actually use data-driven analytics, right? To speed discovery and ultimately drive those faster resolution times. And so all that fancy talk just to say the bottom line is that Skyline can actually help you get proactive so that you can stay productive, quite frankly. And those capabilities, right? They're actually driving values to our customers. We're hearing that Skyline is actually helping our customers avoid constantly being in firefighting mode, right? Our customers are reducing costly downtime, which quite frankly is often caused by misconfigurations. And that increased network reliability that Skyline actually helps to provide actually translates again into less time fixing errors. And as you can see here from a recent industry report, 1 hour of downtime for an enterprise can cost you a lot of money. Companies and who are strategically making the decision to take a more proactive approach to support, they're significantly reducing that unplanned downtime, and we're talking hundreds of hours. And so to date, Skyline has helped a lot of customers, 14,000 plus identify nearly 170 million objects in their environment that have potential issues. And our customers are resolving a great deal of those on their own. I think the last time we did the math, Sonny, I think it was like 73%. And so with that being said, again, if there are times, when you may need to react to an issue that, again, that you didn't proactively resolve, Skyline can support you here as well through our log assist feature, which is actually 17 times faster than our manual log upload processes. And we did the math on this too, and that actually translates into nearly 110,000 hours saved. Yeah, a lot more time to go back and play Call of Duty, quite frankly. And so with that being said, let's talk about how Skyline works in terms of what's happening underneath the hood to enable all these benefits, right? So you got to do a couple things. You got to install and configure a lightweight compliance called a collector into your environment. And then once that collector is installed and configured to your endpoints, right, it starts to listen to collect product usage data. And then based on that data, Skyline actually performs a comprehensive analysis of environment details. And then at that point, Skyline begins to act, right, to provide proactive findings and remediations, via our web-based portal. And if you are a Success 360 or a TAM customer, you get additional guidance based on Skyline's proactive findings and recommendations. And again, with that being said, we're going to be talking about a lot of this stuff in terms of some of the great reports, and we're going to be showing this later in the demo as well. And whenever we talk about how Skyline works in terms of, analyzing and listening, inevitably questions about security come up. So let's just get into it, right? When you activate Skyline, you consent to participate in VMware's enhanced, yes, it's enhanced. It's our customer experience improvement program, otherwise known as CEIP. And basically what that allows us to do is it allows us to collect, product usage data, configuration, we're tracking feature usage, performance data, and all that really good stuff. And all that's being done in an effort to give you better proactive findings and recommendations and actually drive product improvement. And data that we collect is transmitted to us using TLS 1.2 encryption protocols, and product usage is sent to our storage platform, and it is encrypted both in transit and at rest. I also would be irresponsible if I didn't point out that all the data that we collect is tagged with legally identifiable customer information, and the access to that data is actually limited to VMware employees in storage and support and in management, and they all must undergo training and receive manager approval. And to double down and double click on that, no personally identifiable information, no PII is collected. But with that said, you should definitely take care when you're naming your objects. You know, you don't want to name your dog or your host or anything like that after your dog or your favorite video game for that matter. And also, Skyline is SOC 2 compliant. Sonny, is there anything that you want to add on this? Because I know this is where you live, you know, day in and day out. So
No,
want to
no,
give you an
that's,
opportunity to speak
so
on it.
everything that you mentioned is spot on. Hopefully folks here, if you're not familiar, now you are, but if you ever want to go deeper into this, don't hesitate to reach out to us, to reach out to your account team, your TAMs, and then we can actually provide you with more insights if need be.
Very good, very good. So, wow, you know, before we actually jump into Skyline, we literally just had an update. What was it? Just yesterday? So we're going to talk about it. And the thing that's at the top of the list is that if you are a VMware Plus customer, I have vSphere Plus customer, I should say. I've got some really great news for you all. You know, we've just released an update that provides SaaS subscription support, right? And so customers with SaaS subscriptions, including vSphere Plus, can now use Skyline Advisor Pro. You know, so currently, you know, VMware production support level is assigned to all of our active subscriptions, and you can actually see all of that information, you know, within our dashboard. And if you are an admin, you know, you can link your SaaS subscriptions from Advisor Pro's advanced settings. And then also one of the additions that we've done is on the log assist page. You know, you can actually see your support requests, whether they are associated with an EA or a SaaS subscription. And SRs that are associated with an EA have a numeric ID, while SRs associated with the SaaS subscription have an alphanumeric ID. And we're going to talk about that really, really quick. And John, I know this could be a good segue to sort of talk about vSphere Plus, make good use of your time.
I was going to say vSphere Plus is our new offering, which I don't claim to necessarily be the be end all expert on. But this does provide the opportunity to, from a licensing management, be able to have all of your vCenters connected, so to speak, to a cloud dashboard, so you can redirect into them and access them. And at this point, you no longer have to manage license keys. You'll connect these up, they'll phone home. In regards to that, once you license your hosts under vSphere Plus, you actually don't have to go buy vCenter server licensing. It's bundled in. It's kind of like how VCF works in regards to that. There also is vSAN Plus, and it does require vSphere Plus to function. So you can have one without the other, but not the other way.
Got it. And is there anything you'd like to show us, or
I was going to say
demos?
I can show in terms of, you know, getting back. I can show some of the stuff in terms of the Skyline Health that's baked in within the vSphere itself. I'd love to, you know, bore you with slides, but you know what? I was gonna say I can drop
Let's do
into
it live. Yeah,
let's just do it live. Let's drop into a vCenter.
Yep, let's go. I'm going to stop sharing.
So, and I, as always, have way too many tabs open. So let's go over to vCenter here first. I'll start here. So what are your views, you know, from the customer side into Skyline Health, which are the native health capabilities built into vCenter and also additionally built into vSAN? So you can start by looking at the monitor tab at both your vCenter level, and you'll see the general Skyline Health tasks that run across any VMware environment. And this is going to find things like security configuration issues, so other things. And also your Skyline collector will also roll this up, but maybe you're not paying attention to your emails. Maybe you haven't logged into the portal. Maybe you're not looking at the plugin. And so this is something that will actually bring some of these insights directly kind of in your face, so to speak, as well as also help push some alarms and some alerts for people who are operating kind of tactically at that. If you're trying to troubleshoot an issue, it's going to bring some of that intelligence directly in here. Now, it is going to collapse out these sections if they're already healthy. So while you only see a couple findings on here, it's going to highlight the ones that are more urgent or have more current problems. Like in this environment, clearly I need to patch this vCenter server up. Now, if we drop to the cluster level and we have a vSAN cluster, we have additional checks that are going to fire off and run here. And again, this is going to collapse out. So like all my data checks, these are clean, but these other ones that are surfacing, it says that I've left network diagnostic mode on for a very long time. I was trying to troubleshoot a networking issue, things like that. And I also see that I'm getting a warning here on my storage space. In regards to these alerts, you can silence these alerts, but please don't silence alarms that are, warning you of impending doom, so to speak. There are some that actually have remediation built in. If you've replaced a vCenter and you need to resync the vCenter to the vSAN environment, there's a health check for that that'll actually have a remediate button that'll pop up. So these aren't just always informational. These are also in regards to that. And looking more broadly at kind of what the phone home on this actually looks like for some environments. I have an environment here that's phoning home, and this is something just to give you an insight into like what our support can see of these alerts. I can see that in this environment, my performance, getting really low latency, so I don't have any performance problems. Not a lot of activity, frankly, in this environment, but I can see that there's some various alarms going off. I can see, for instance, that I have some configuration problems in regards to this. And so I can actually look at what's going on in terms of this. I saw that there was an NTP alarm, which means that someone's forgotten to configure the time servers consistently across all the hosts. And there are some tests that we're not only testing internally. So before we push out new tests, we'll actually have these internal or dev side tests. And then we also have customer facing cloud tests. These are ones that are, as long as your vCenter is phoning home, the CIP is enabled, it's actually able to deliver that and push that out. In this case, there's a test that we've pushed out that shows there's inconsistent interface speeds. That could be a matter of configuration, a switch port issue. We can also see the vCenter issues. And like I mentioned, that timing, I can see that I've got 4 hosts. Only these 4 hosts are configured one way for NTP. These are configured a completely different way. So maybe, these hosts were set up at different times. There's a lack of consistency. As we move towards trying to manage hosts through things like the new config management service that's built into vSphere 8 and move to a more declarative framework, hopefully this will help you kind of identify some of those inconsistencies as we move to that. And we can also see performance and all kinds of fun stuff here, but I'll hand the wheel back real quick. I just wanted to give you a quick insight into what the visibility is that not only you can see, but also kind of what the support side of some of these tooling are and why it's important to make sure that your environments are phoning home and connected in regards to that. Oh, one last thing. You can also see the history. So if you hit this tab, you can also see if you had a problem yesterday. It's great to have cameras, but don't you really want to DVR with it to know what actually happened? So you can actually go back and be like, oh, or you can see how long has this host been disconnected? A very long time. I need to go yell at ops to fix this. So
good deal. Thanks for that.
Very nice.
So let me go ahead and share my screen back here. Let's go ahead and. So thanks for that. So like I said, that piece around Skyline is very, very critical here. And so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and just give everybody a really, really quick overview of Skyline. And then we're going to transition and talk about SHD and how that fits with it. And so let's just jump into the Skyline component of it. Sonny, can you see my screen?
Yep, looks good.
Awesome. So let me go ahead and just do this here. So, VMware Skyline, right? It leverages proactive environments to, and that intelligence to keep the environments that you manage out of harm's way. And that really becomes evident, right? As soon as you log into our dashboard, it's that single pane of glass that provides a summary of the total number of active findings in your environment, grouped by severity and findings type. You can get insight into the overall health of your collectors that are monitoring all the connected endpoints in your environment's inventory. There's also information on the open support requests that our teams are in the process of helping you resolve. There's even notifications in terms of where your product is in terms of its current life cycle. And then there's the operational overview, right, which provides configuration summaries of your hosts, your clusters, your virtual machines, and they're all delivered here in these very, very easy to read pie charts, right? And for those times when you need to get deeper insight into how to resolve potential issues that Skyline has detected, its active findings will surely help with its ability to filter, potential issues based on severity, category, finding type, date. And you can even do things like keyword searches here. I'm not going to search for NTP in this example, or maybe I will. I don't know. If we're going to do for log4j, but once a finding has been identified, additional insights can be provided. You get access to KB articles and knowledge base and security advisories and other really, really great sort of VMware documentation here. So you get the identification of the issue, you get information on how to resolve it. And for those times, right, where you need even deeper proactive guidance, Skyline's historical insight feature, right, it provides the ability to associate key events like what John talked about in your environment, like a configuration change, for example, with findings that have either appeared or been removed as a result of a change, right? So it's a great way to sort of see cause and effect, right? Whether it's identifying an event that either created an issue or remediated an existing one. And these events can range from changes to your environment's composition, such as the addition or removal of products, to when a collector status has changed from unhealthy to healthy, and even vice versa on any specific date. And basically what that basically means is that the net, right, with historical insights, that allows you to do a lot of great things, right? You can assess risk levels, you can document progress, you can understand the events that either positively or negatively impacted your environment, and you can even correlate, right, the number of findings and remediations with hitting those SLAs, as well as the time spent on supporting, reactive support requests. And I know, Sunny, this is something that you and I've worked on. I wanted to give you an opportunity to speak on this as well, because this is sort of similar to what John showed earlier in terms of being able to sort of go back and see history.
Definitely. So while we know you all do your work and you do your work well, there are times when you got management asking, hey, what has happened? What's been going on in the last few weeks? Are the additional of the new infrastructure causing us grief? You can at least right off the bat come in here, identify all that and say, hey, my team has been eliminating all these problems. While the
Right.
concern is always your management never hear problems. So therefore, are you working? Instead, you can actually showcase that, hey, you've actually eliminated so many problems. So that way you don't have to do an SR. You don't have to have an outage, that kind of thing.
Very, very good. And so, and these insights, right, that Skyline provides, they just aren't limited to just you and your company, right? Our technical account managers, they actually rely on TAM health check reporting, powered by Skyline to actually help advise on ways to either maximize uptime and even sidestep obstacles, that you may come across, right? And so with Skyline's integration of TAM health check reports, they actually allow our TAMs to automate and streamline what was once a very manual data collection process that spanned multiple tools, right? To really quickly deliver, meaningful guidance, right? From a single source of truth, with complete visibility in terms of everything that's happening across the different teams. That's going to actually give you better proactive issue avoidance. And then to continue on with that story, right? If you're a Success 360 customer, you get access to even more capabilities with insight reports that even add more contextual data to the decision-making process, right? In terms of the things that you want to prioritize and act on. And so you've got these interactive reports, right? They provide reports on finding status by severity, category and product. You get proactive remediations over a specific period of time. You get to see collector health and endpoint status, as well as the ability to prioritize remediations based on the level of effort with its unique resolution by type category. And with the ability, right, to leave annotation or comments on the things that you want to do or not do, right, you can keep a running record of your remediation next steps that can be shared with your extended team. And so it's really, really a great tool.
By the way,
And
one of the key value out of this report, if you take a look up top in that top right-hand corner, is that they show you a section where you can do the fixes without reboots. That's pretty valuable. You won't find that anywhere else within the.
Most definitely, yeah. Most definitely, that level of effort. And so with that being said, right, so on the proactive side of support side of things, right, we're definitely working to keep the environments that you manage stable and resilient, right? And so right here, we've got upgrade recommendations. And so what's really happening here in terms of upgrade recommendations, right, is that they're actually grouped by order of upgrade sequence, right? And so what's really, really great about this is that Skyline's proactive intelligence doesn't really stop just there, right? It'll automatically give you the number of findings that will be resolved if the upgrade is performed. But the intelligence doesn't stop there, right? It'll actually automatically detect other issues that could potentially impact that upgrade. So by clicking on show details, it actually displays, interop results on the different VMware solutions that your environment is running, really allowing you to sort of make the most informed decisions, right, in terms of your remediation next steps, and even help you sort of maximize your efficiency, right, during that planned downtime for all the environments that you're managing here. So upgrade recommendations is a really great tool. And Sonny, I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak on this as well, because I know that you've been doing a lot of great work here in terms of just informing the team how we can make it better.
Yeah, as Kelsey has mentioned, a lot of folks initially what they do is they add in vCenter, right? But for us, we always recommend add in all the key products that we support, because on one piece you can identify any concerns within that individual product, but at the same time, the interrupt. Once again, the whole goal is as you're planning for upgrades, as you're planning to make changes, it's always good to see these upgrade recommendations to say, oh, I'm upgrading this. It may affect this. Perhaps I should look at on upgrading this before I do that. Once again,
right.
Reduce downtime, reduce outages, and it just makes your life easier, honestly.
Yeah, and with that interop matrix is actually built within it, so you can actually access it within the Skyline Advisor Pro UI. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the reactive side, so for those times where you need to react to an issue, right, that wasn't proactively resolved, right, we can support you here as well. We've got our log assist feature that basically sort of automates that traditional process of creating those log bundles manually, right? All you have to do is just simply select where you want to retrieve the logs, and Skyline does the rest, right? Just really ensuring that our support team quickly gets the information to begin troubleshooting, right? And then once that log transfer has been initiated, the log bundles are automatically uploaded to our global support services portal, and it's a direct transfer that is actually fast and secure. So no FTP sites are needed, right? And with that being said, also our support engineers can actually request log bundles from you as well. So you have the option to either reject or approve the request. And if our support engineers require even more information from you, you can actually enable our auto approve option to save even more time. Again, giving you an end-to-end solution to sort of track the resolution of your open support request just by going to our log library here. So you can see who's done what when. It's a really great tool in terms of just seeing where things are. Sonny, any additional comments here?
Nope, you're spot on.
All right, and so with that, I think we've covered Skyline. Oh, one last thing. Oh, the API, right? So we've heard from our customers, right? That they want to do more than just view our products, right? And so we've got a tool that allows it to take action. So for those of you who are not leveraging it early in our poll, we've got this ability where you can actually take Skyline finding data, and you can basically pull it into the tooling of your choice to automate whatever you want, right? So whether you're an SRE or a sysadmin or IT manager, right? You can take all of these insights and you can automate some really common workflows here. So what we've doing here, we're actually pulling some data from our service here. We're going to put this into our ticketing system like ServiceNow. So this is a great workflow that Sonny created here. And so it's a really great way to sort of automate a lot of that information that Skyline's providing. And so with that being said, right, as you're sort of count the members of your own internal teams, as well as your extended team members, including our TAMs and our Success 360 customers, we really hope that you start to consider Skyline as another member of your team, right? And not just another tool. And so with that, we've already sort of talked about Skyline health and in that positioning there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and sort of fast forward here. We're going to talk about Skyline Health Diagnostics, and I'm going to turn it over to our guest speaker here so that he can share his screen and he can give us some more information about where that product fits within the support spectrum in terms of the reactive side. And so I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend.
Okay, so this is for SSD here.
Yep.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, let me put in the presentation mode. Yeah, can you see my screen? Yeah. Okay, so basically Skyline Health Diagnostics is nothing but the offline version of Skyline Advisor. So both sits in the same space and provide the same capabilities, nothing different over there. And what this both the tools brings out is the unified expertise from the products, from the troubleshooting team GSS and customers feedback, right? So in a nutshell, it does the same thing, just that this is the offline version of the Skyline Advisor or vice versa. So what happens is, because when you are working in your environment, right? So you might be allowed to connect to the cloud, but sometimes you may not be allowed to connect to a cloud, and you want to diagnose what's happening, because that's the core. Because the VMware stack is complex, you might want to know like what's happening, what is the issue, why it is happening, right? And at that time, in offline mode, if you want to detect all these issues, then this is the tool for you. So go ahead, download the tool. The installation is simple. It takes less than 10 minutes to get it installed. The OVA file is hardly 1 GB of file, right? And that once the installation is done, it is ready to work as good as what the advisor does. So the only difference is here, the tool will try to go ahead, connect to a vSphere environment, then collect the log bundle, and then try to find out what's happening. So along with the log bundle, we do a lot of other things as well. And over the period of time, whatever the extra things that SSD is doing, that will also replicate in the advisor. So that work is in progress, so that customer gets the both the benefits. So over the period, it will get unified. So in a nutshell, what happens is, like you customers encounters the issue, you run the SSD tool, you try to connect to a vCenter, because this is not running in a proactive mode, because the intention is that you use this tool before if you want to detect what's happening. First thing, if you don't know what's going on, right, and you are about to file the SR, but before you file the SR, you want to know, okay, can SSD help me here, right? So when you come to this tool, you run the SSD, so it can help you connect with the vCenter, or if you already have a log bundle, you can just upload this log bundle to the tool, and this tool can do all the processing on this data, and it can help you identify what the issue is, right? So overall, it is saving a lot of your efforts, both advisor and SSD, because you don't need to go and search at multiple places, and that's the beauty of it, right? That is the beauty of these both the tools. You get what you want within a time span of less than 10 minutes, right? So for SSD, it takes 10 minutes to finish the run, because the process involved is connecting the vCenter, collecting the diagnostic data, coming back, and processing the results. Well, as in the advisor, you have everything flowing into the cloud, right? And it is happening in real time, right? So yeah, so overall, it has gone through a lot of evolution, because we've been working for last 3 years, and the latest version that is available is 3.5.2. We, over the period of time, we have added lots of signatures, right? And the main capability of this offline tool is the diagnostics, and we can go ahead and look at your host, we can look at your storage, and we can find out whether they have any compatibility issues, right? So even the host compatibility issues at driver and firmware layer can be identified, and it can be shown to you, right? Because these issues over the period of time impacts you on the performance, or it will make your environment unreliable, or over the period of time it might crash also. So diagnosing these issues, or diagnosing this compatibility well in advance, help whether your infrastructure is reliable, or it requires the update of your firmware and drivers, right? Because this is one of the biggest category of issues which is generating the SR for us, okay, or for you as well. So I will move on. Okay, so one sec. Yeah. So as of today, like through SSD, we support vSphere, vSAN, VCF, SD-WAN, and other products. Total of more than 800 plugins already exist. We have more than 33 types of vCenter pre-checks and other checks that are available. Since it is an offline mode bundle, offline offering, we have around 15,000 unique customers, and tool is already been downloaded around for 40,000 customers or so. Okay. So this is how in a nutshell it works. So Skyline Health and Diagnostics as a VM will be installed in your environment. It can connect to any of the vSphere infrastructure, but primarily the vSphere, vSAN, and VCF. And it will try to pull up the logs, try to do the analysis, and the result of the analysis, whether the findings worked or not, whether we are able to detect the issue or not, those only go to the CIP, right? And the CIP is enabled by default over there. In return, if you are connected to the network, right? So how it helps is if there are latest signature, latest updates, those will be pulled down to the VM so that they are made available to you as and when we release the updates. And along with that, whatever the compatibility guide updates are there, those will be also made available in time, right? So, so what goes out of the Skyline Health Diagnostics is only that usage, like how often you have used, whether the checks are successful or not, are we able to diagnose the signatures or not, right? So rest all stays in your environment as it is. Okay. Yeah, going forward, these are the data available for your consumption. You can look at the YouTube video, a landing page, and release notes as you feel appropriate and comfortable. I will quickly move on to a quick demo. Okay, so since it is appliance, you just download the appliance, come to your vCenter, come to your vCenter and import this appliance. Once this appliance is imported and a VM is created for this appliance, the installation is very simple and straightforward. You just provide the network configuration details, and the VM will be up with the respective IP address. As you can see on the screen, either you can upload the OVA or you can directly import it. I will just little bit fast forward this so that we can finish the installation quickly. Right, so you select the license agreement, select the required storage, select the required network over there. Yeah. So this is about providing the root passwords and initial admin passwords for the appliance. And once you do that, yeah, so your OVA deployment will start in the background. And once this is available and SSD is ready to consume, right? So just go on the SSD UI, and once you log into SSD UI, this initial installation will finish in less than 10 minutes. You log in with the root passwords. The appliance is up and running. UI is up and running. Log in with the default administration and password that you have provided. Accept the EULA. And once EULA is available, you are good to connect SSD with the vCenter, right? So we provide pre-upgrade checks as well, right? Because still 8.0 these pre-upgrade checks were not built into the environment, and what customer feedback we got is like even after we release, there are some failures, and customers want to know whether it is safe for them to upgrade or not. And if there are any upgrade related issues, right, those can be identified during the SSD. That will help you to improve the reliability of the upgrades, right? So you can execute pre-upgrade checks, you can execute health checks, and any of the diagnostics. So I will just fast forward this. So when you are executing any of the diagnostics, you can see the progress flow, like log bundles getting collected, downloaded, extracted, and diagnostics getting run. So as soon as at the end of the diagnostics run, you will have a report, and report will tell you what all the issues are observed in your environment and what all the recommendations for it, right? And this is something this will be displayed as a report over here. And as you expand to a report, you will be able to see all the findings in the report, and each of the findings will have the summary category, like what is the severity of the issues and what is the basic recommendation for it. So if you want, you can download this report, and before you file the SR, you can attach this report saying that you have executed SSD and you didn't find it. So this helps us in the background because we know that customer has ran SSD, they were not able to detect the issue or issue is not remediated. We will go back, either update our signature or ensure that whatever the recommendation we have done, right? It's been addressed for the customer environment. So either the KB will get updated or the signature will get updated. So this is how this entire 360-degree ecosystem works. And that's all from the SSD side. Yeah, over to you.
All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen again and we can wrap this up here. So let me give me one moment here. I'll share my screen again. And let me just go ahead and sort of just fast forward here, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead and get to the end. All right, so I'm just going to wrap this up with our call to action here. So this concludes our session, right? We hope you found it very, very informative. And if you're not already using Skyline, we encourage you to adopt on the spot and start using it today. All you got to do is just go to that Getting Started link at the top of the page here, and you can install Skyline. We even have a way to test drive it. We've got a hands-on lab environment, and we've got a lot of great other tools and URLs here, including FAQs. And so want to make sure that you're definitely taking advantage of those. And if you still have questions, we've got a moderated community and we encourage you to check all that out. And so with that said, you just want to thank our guest speakers here for coming and sharing their subject matter expertise and their love and enthusiasm for the Skyline product family. And so with that, we bid you adieu. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.